What is going on, my super sandwiches? Rhymestyle here along with ZZ Toasty, and we're going to be discussing the Android race and why we believe it's not necessary to add in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, although it would be really, really cool. But before we start, we both want to make a quick announcement. We have a radio show now. Every Saturday at 5 o'clock PST, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Tune into dashradio.com or download the Dash Radio app if you have an iPhone. It's coming for Android in a couple days, actually. But if you have an iPhone, you can download the app for free. And 5 o'clock at Saturdays, PST, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Tune in for us talking about random stuff. I don't want to spoil it, but it's just us literally just, I don't know. What would you describe that show as?
I would describe it as us having a fun, conversation. Sort of like if you were on S.Dot's channel, the Megacom that we did. Pretty much that, but an hour long. And every week.
Just us literally just putting words together, and the first words that come to our mind and just, I don't know, making sense and stuff. But so tune in! 5 o'clock today, in a couple hours. Go watch it. We'll, if you follow us on Twitter, both at ZZ Toasty and at Rhymestyle, we will basically tweet before the show goes live and stuff. So, yeah, and also let us know what you think of it. But, the Android race, is it necessary? Now, obviously, I will point out that if the Android race was part of the game, it would be cool. The more we get, the better, obviously. I'm not going to say, hey, don't give me the Android race because blah, 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 blah. And I know ZZ Toasty agrees with me because he did make a video a while back saying that the Android race would be cool. But the question is it really necessary?
No.
Is it necessary?
It's not necessary. It's not needed. It's not needed in the game. A lot of people say it is needed, but it isn't. We've already got 5 races. Even though humans may be similar to Saiyans, we've got 5 races, if not 4 races, that we could choose from. Everyone's being just greedy. It's
yeah. Well, the thing is if the Android race was added in the game, what would make them so special? Now, we're going to break this discussion down into 2 parts. Part 1 is going to be about the humanoid androids, so android 17, 16, 18, and then Cell. And in all reality, I think when people think Android race, they probably want to play as Cell rather than playing as Android 16, 17, or 18. Because if you could make a Frieza character, a Super Saiyan, or a freaking Majin character, who would decide to play as freaking Android 17? Mm-hmm. Nobody. Android 17!
Yeah,
didn't want to be Android 17.
Because it is kind of weird, though, that they are kind of missing that one. It's because they allow you to make Frieza, they allow you to make a Majin, but they don't allow you to make a Cell. That is kind of weird, though. But it's just, it would be cool. It was in Dragon Ball Heroes. You could you had a little Cell hero. It was purple.
We'll get into Cell at the end. We'll get into Cell at the end, because that's the reason why people want to talk about or play as androids. Let's break down why the basic androids are not really necessary. So, starting with the designs. So, the way Dims has given us Dragon Ball Xenoverse, you can redesign pretty much any character in the game, especially androids. I remember during the beta a while back, in October, I saw a lot of female Android 18s running around. It was literally just Android 18 recreated 1,000 times, because for some reason, I guess all the girls that played the game that day decided to just recreate Android 18. So, Android 18 technically is in the game. You could recreate her, and I'm sure you can do the same thing with Android 17. Yeah, actually, you could, because I remember Android 17 hair was an option as well. So if you want to recreate a humanoid android, you technically can. Toasty, here's a question out for you guys, or I guess for you. What is it that made the androids so unique?
In the past games, the most unique things about them, even though they weren't that great.
Well, not even the games, just overall. What was so unique about the androids?
They charge ki. Not charge. They can take ki from other people, like 19 can. They have unlimited ki.
Unlimited ki, that's the one I was looking for.
Yeah, they have unlimited energy.
Key drain is one that we're going to cover as well. So let me tell you about the Earthing race. I already broke down Earthing race the other day, but the Earthing race's special ability is the key is constantly recovering. That's basically the androids right there. I mean, how would the android race would be different than that, right? Like literally what they gave the humans, the Earthing race, is just the android special ability. So the fact that you can design androids and the fact that you have the android's main ability, is the android race really necessary? Now, Toasty did mention that, they can drain ki like Android 19 and Android 20. Well, seeing the fact that, Dims has given us pretty much every single attack in the Dragon Ball Z universe, I'm pretty sure the ki drain is going to be one of them. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be like, hey, let's just skip this one just because we don't need this one. No, I'm pretty sure they're going to give us every single attack, including ki drain. So if you want to get ki drain, I'm pretty sure that'll be a super move that's going to be available in the game as well. So it's again, how are androids different from humanoids in this game? Or I guess the Earthlings in this game? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm getting with this? It's essentially androids are technically part of the game. It's just
I mean, and even the special attacks, the only thing that you won't have from the androids in terms of special attacks is where 16 takes off his arms and shoots you with guns, because obviously As a human, you can't do that. But
actually,
like,
I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt that. I mean, again,
that doesn't really make sense though. Like,
well, if you remember in the live stream, Battle Namco did say that there are certain super attacks where you pull a sword out of your butthole. The air sword.
Yeah, but he
sure,
literally takes off his arms and has guns under them. I don't know if humans would work that way.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. Unless they just do it differently. Unless, like, instead of like taking his arms out, they just blast it.
Yeah.
I mean,
they take guns out since Jacko's in the game. They just take out some guns since Jacko uses guns.
Well, we'll see how that works out. But I still feel like that, considering that they're giving us, like, what's the most ridiculous attack that we've seen so far on the list?
For androids? Or
no, just overall. Because I mean, we got the Hercule attacks. We got Hercule attacks in the game.
You got Hercule.
I'm sure if we have something as ridiculous as Hercule bomb attacks, that we'll get,
You actually have Super 17's move as well.
Yeah, well, Super 17's basically that was the same thing, wasn't it?
I think it's called minus energy ball. Like it's.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the ones with the guns where you like basically.
Oh no! I'm talking about that's not the one I'm talking about. I'm talking about the ultimate attack.
Yeah. I remember I saw that in the stream.
Yeah.
But the point is to those who want an android race, you basically are going to get an android race because again, the Earthling race has that ability that makes the androids unique, and with the ability of customization options that you're going to get in the game, you can recreate anybody from Android freaking 17, 18, even 16.
Yeah, you actually recreate 16 completely. Yeah.
Yeah, because they have all the parts. I mean, like what is it about the androids that you guys want? And I'll let Toast actually break this one down because we're both confident that the reason why people want the android race is because they want to play as Cell.
Yeah. So they had Cell in Dragon Ball Heroes, or at least a Cell Mini-Me who was purple, and he looked cool. I didn't really get to see any actual gameplay or anything of him in the actual game, although he did look cool in the cutscenes and all that stuff. And I guess you could have a bunch of moves for Cell, since Cell himself is made out of cells from pretty much every single race that's already in the game besides... Well, actually, no, because Cell has Frieza as well. So pretty much every single race that's in the game, or at least from that. So, I mean, you could do pretty much any move anyway, and I guess it would just really be a change in how you look. And the only other problem would be transformation, because...
transformation, yeah, it wouldn't work. It wouldn't work with Cell.
I mean, but the one that comes in Dragon Ball Heroes is already pretty much perfect. Pretty much. He's not the same as first form Cell. So I guess the question is even if you got this is a question to you guys, people watching this video, that we want you to answer in the comment section below. If you could play a Cell, like what would be different or what would be so special or unique? Like essentially, what would you want the Cell race to essentially do in this game? Like. Yeah,
let us know.
Now that I'm actually looking it up, it's like...
Because I really don't know. Like, I just don't know how the Cell part of the android race would, like, differ from the rest.
Yeah, apparently...
But technically, I feel like you could recreate freaking Cell 2 using the Frieza race. So you just set yourself as green, give yourself some horns, bam, you're Cell.
Well...
Actually, you probably could.
I don't think that you can really recreate that, mainly because of the way that Cell's head is shaped. Like, you don't have that in the Frieza race, really. Like, his head is shaped...
Yeah, but you get the horns, and I'm pretty sure they're going to give us many horn options, like the coolest final form, like that kind of horn. If you just color yourself straight up green, I mean, you're essentially be Cell. Kind of. I mean, we'll find out when the Frieza race is actually announced, and they actually show us how customizable that race is. But I just feel like the android race will be unnecessary. It'd be cool to have as an extra race, because, like, the more the better. But it just wouldn't be any special or different than the Earthling race or even the other races.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's really what it comes down to. But I mean, we want to know from you guys, like, if you could play as the androids, like, what is it about the androids that you want so badly that's not already in the game? Like, let us know in the comments below.
Also, to correct myself, they're actually apparently it's either a costume or it's just something different. But you'll have the Cell mouth from the first form, but then later it gets taken away. So I guess that you just have the normal perfect Cell mouth. So I don't know how he transforms in Heroes, if he does. So that's just how it is. I don't even know. It could just be like nothing. It could just literally just turn into that. But for all we know, it's just like the normal Cell, and then it turns into perfect Cell. I don't know. It seems like it would be a cool idea to have in the game, although it doesn't have that many like unique things about it to where putting it in the game is like a huge thing. It's the only thing that really matters in terms of difference, and this is only with Cell, because obviously, as we said before, you can create your own humanoid android by just literally making a human. But for Cell, the only thing that's really different is the way that he looks. And obviously,
I feel like
even if you could like create something like with the Arcosian race or Frieza's race, whatever you'd like to call it, cold, whatever. Even if you could make something like that, obviously it's not going to look like the exact same thing as Cell.
I feel like when they were making the Earthling race, they were like, how can we make the Earthling race Android race? And then they figured, you know what, screw it, let's put them on one.
Yeah.
Minus Cell. But something I want to point out is, just going off of Dragon Ball Online, Dragon Ball Online has a broken down story of how each race comes into existence. Like Boos, the reason why there's so many Boos is because a couple years down the line after the Dragon Ball Z story ends, I don't know exactly the timeline of it, Majin Buu finds one of Hercule's like adult magazines. I don't know if it's a porno or what, but he finds an adult magazine and he wants to create a woman. So he creates a female version of Majin Buu and brings it to life. And from there, they create a Buu baby. And that is the start of the Buu race. So
they
just
could
point out,
like what?
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
That's such
Dragon
a
Ball
weird
Online,
way for it to go.
Yeah, it's right. It's really weird. Dragon Ball Online takes place 216 years after the end of Dragon Ball Z. Now we don't know how much it's going to be similar in Xenoverse, but we know Xenoverse borrowed a lot of elements from Online, like literally almost everything. So I mean, it's pretty much you can confirm that your character comes from the distant future in the Dragon Ball Z universe, like somewhere in the year 1000 or something. Like it only makes sense since there's races or everything, and that's how Dragon Ball Online did it.
In Online, didn't the humans actually merge with Saiyans a little bit? Like since they mated with them, they became like parts
so
of them?
Over the course of that 216-year period, because of Goku and Vegeta's descendants, like Gohan, Goku Jr., Vegeta Jr., and so on, they procreated with the humans, and that's how the Saiyan gene actually gets passed down. Not to every human, but to a lot of humans in the future. It creates like, you know, a hybrid race, I guess you want to call it. Now, if you want to go Super Saiyan as an Earthling in Dragon Ball Online, you actually can, but you have to get the Dragon Balls and make a wish for it. I don't know exactly how it works, but the humans in Dragon Ball Online in 216 years after Z ends can go Super Saiyan. So the question is how would the android race really exist when they really couldn't exist? Because like, think about it. Giro's the one who made the androids. He made about 20 of them. I mean, I guess you could argue there's another scientist that shows up later and like carries in Giro's work. That's probably a good argument. But everything else just doesn't make much sense because there was only one Cell. There's only one 17 and 18, and outside of that, there was no androids that were ever created later. Yeah. Unless you want to argue the fact that maybe a scientist shows up and adds the android race later. But even that wouldn't make any sense because there wouldn't be an android race. The androids were created to kill. Like, why would it be, hey, we're going to go ahead and make this peaceful android race just because. It's
not, because it's kind of not like, first of all, I don't even know how Cell would even be able to reproduce. Like, I guess like his Cell Juniors could be counted, but like.
Yeah, but I feel like Cell could just pop out Cell Juniors and they grow up or something.
Yeah, I guess. If they live long
enough. I guess that's probably a good argument right there. Maybe in the future, Cell survives and just pops out a bunch of babies or something. Actually, you could probably argue that
they bring Cell back or something, and then he.
No, maybe future Cell like create a bunch of Cell Juniors before he went back in time to fight, you know, Trunks and then the Z Warriors in the present timeline. You could probably argue that, but even then, it just wouldn't make much sense because, you know, like, why would they still be alive or whatever?
So, it'll also be a kind of a plot hole since Cell first form Cell technically never. I don't think he could sprout Cell Juniors.
Yeah.
For all I know.
Yeah, actually, that wouldn't make any sense because if, you know, when Cell reproduces, he creates essentially the same, you know, design, like the same look.
Yeah,
so,
not the color. Yeah, just a different color, all the same.
There's just no real story that you can add for an android. So that's why it wouldn't make any sense. But with that said, we already kind of rambled enough. We want to know from you guys, like, let us know in the comments below why you want the androids and how you would make them differently. Like, what would make the android race so unique compared to the, you know, Earthlings or the other races? Like, let us know, because I'm stumped. Toasty, are you stumped?
I don't see what they could do to make them different. Like, but I do think it would be a cool addition, obviously.
Yeah. But yeah, so let us know in the comment section below. Of course, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you punch that like button right in the face. And don't forget to tune in later. ZZ Toasty, Rhymestyle, Thundershot, Omega Pro. We all get together and ramble for an hour on DashRadio.com. Or if you have the iPhone or have an iOS device, you can just download the Dash Radio app for free. By looking up an iTunes store. And remember, 5 o'clock PST, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Tune in for the shenanigans and hilarity.
Yep.
Yeah.
So pretty much all we got to say for today. Thank you all for watching. If you guys enjoyed, as Rhymestyle already said, punch that like button in the face. Subscribe to become a Super Saiyan to both our channels because we both make DBZ content pretty often. And yeah, that's all we got to say for today. Thank you all for watching. You got anything else to say, Rhymestyle?
That's all. We will see you guys in the comment section below because we're curious to know what makes the android race to you. Or I guess in your world, what will make the perfect android race? Let us know in the comments below! we'll take it from there.
Yep.
So yeah. Anyways, bye.
Peace.